Speaking of, I guess the Colts, the Jonathan Taylor saga has just become its own thing.
It's been its own thing for quite some time now, and we thought that the Colts would be able to make, be able to make a deal, and it never came to fruition, and now they're stuck with them. And I think they are playing the long game. They're playing hardball. At some point, they may even think about suspending him, which would be a declaration of war. I think they're going to try and force him back. I think this idea that he's got a bad ankle is the biggest crock of crap I've ever heard in my life. The man had surgery, a minor surgery back in January that requires a 2 to 4 week recovery period. And here we are 7 months later, and the man wants a new contract, which is fine. But he's saying, well, my ankle, I got pain. You can't put me. That's because he doesn't want to get fined. He didn't want to get fined like Chris Jones is getting fined every single day. You know, Jonathan doesn't want to get fined $44,000 per day, which is what it would be if he was not on the PUP list. So this is ugly. Chris Ballard spoke the other day and tried to sing Kumbaya and tried.
Didn't that make it even worse?
No, I think he tried to calm the waters and suggest that maybe this thing is repairable. He didn't suggest it. He said, I think this could be repairable. I think money repairs everything, but it's clear to me that the Colts are dug in. They're not going to pay him what he wants or even close to what he wants for the foreseeable future. So it's really, the ball is in Jonathan Taylor's court at this point, it seems to me.
Yeah, I get it. It's kind of a sucky situation because he was loyal. He gave great effort. He was one of the best, if not the best, at the time. But unfortunately, it's a position that is a dime a dozen now.
It is.
The lifespan is 3.5 to 4 years, and it would be idiotic for Jim Irsay to pay him a long-term deal. It just would be. As much as it sucks and pains for me to say, it would be stupid.
And that said, I agree with you. At the same time, I do think that if everybody was being reasonable, they could come up with a number like they did with Saquon Barkley, like they did when Dalvin Cook was signed recently. If both sides were willing to give a little bit, I think you could see him going from 4 to 10 million this year. And then, we'll see what happens next year. But he doesn't want that. He wants to be guaranteed. Look, I don't blame him, Jim, because he looks at all these other players who are got an extension in the final year of their rookie deal. And he says, why not me? I ran for 1,800 yards and 1 million touchdowns 2 years ago. Last year was injury plagued, but it wasn't a major injury. It wasn't like it was his Achilles heel or something, or his Achilles. So
why is it him? Why is he not getting it?
I think part of it, and I asked Ballard that question. I think after a 4-win season, they want to reevaluate everything. I think with the new coach, his offensive style is not reliant on a dominating running back. You look at the Eagles last year, they had Miles Sanders, who's just a dime a dozen guy, and he went for 1,200 yards, and he was so valuable that they let him walk at the end of the year. So I think in the new Shane Steichen offense, they feel like they can get by with a low-paid dime a dozen running back, and we'll find out pretty damn soon.
See, I would think, and what do I know, but with your brand new quarterback that you're breaking in, he's going to start. You've had some offensive line problems already, so it hasn't been great. I would think that I would want as good a running back in the backfield as possible to try to help this transition as well, though.
You would think that, but in this offense, the quarterback helps the running back more than the running back helps the quarterback. But I agree with you in general. If you got a guy who can take it to the house anytime he touches the football. I mean, look at the Colts. Who are their home run hitters on offense? Name them. You can't. There's nobody. I mean, Alec Pierce has caught 41 passes last year. He may be a home run hitter at some point. Frankly, I haven't been that impressed with him, especially in preseason. So who's their home run hitter? They don't have any. Anthony Richardson potentially could be a home run hitter, but we don't know. We know that Jonathan Taylor can take it to the house anytime he touches the ball. He led the league in 70-yard runs, 80-yard runs, 60-yard runs. So, the whole thing, it's hard to pick a side simply because both sides, I think, have a point. I really do. Like you said, why would you pay this guy a long-term deal when these guys just don't last? You look at all the running backs who got big contracts, long-term contracts, and almost all of them are gone after a year or two. So I understand that, but at the same time, I understand Jonathan Taylor saying, "You paid everybody else. What the hell? How about me?" They're gonna be bad. They're gonna be bad. I mean,
how about me?
What's that?
How about me?
How about you? What?
Pay me.
Pay you. Yeah. I'm sure the Colts will get right around to that. You're not asking for a long-term contract.
And nothing big. I fly right under the radar. Nick says they can't get by because they're weak at receiver and tight end as well right now.
Well, they are very. I don't know what they got. I mean, I like Michael Pittman Jr. I think Pierce has got to make a big step. They got a rookie at the slot, Josh Downs, who looked good in preseason, but we'll see. But he's a rookie. And then you've got no depth there. Then you've got about 112 tight ends on this roster right now. Are any of them special? They think Ogletree can be pretty good. They think that Jelani Woods could be pretty good. Mo Alley-Cox is who he is. We've seen him for years now. So I don't see where he's got much in the way of weapons to, at his disposal.
Yeah, and then you worry about the development of a quarterback when he doesn't have that stuff around him. I mean, it's hard. First of all, just deciphering and learning and recognizing the multiple defenses, because he is going to see it all because he's a rookie. They know that they can pick on him and they are going to mask and confuse. That's what he should be focusing on. But he's got to worry about who the hell he can throw the ball to, who he can hand the ball to, who he has to run away from. He's going to have so many things on his mind. It's going to be twice as hard for him to develop, in my opinion.
He needs people around him who can bail him out. People who he can throw that quick bubble screen to, who can turn it into a 15, 20-yard gain. We know he's got a superior arm. Do they have guys who can go out and get it? And right now, the answer is I don't think so. Pittman is not a deep threat. Alec Pierce is really the only deep threat. And frankly, we don't know that he can play. And excuse me while I cough. Excuse me. You got the cough button?
Right.
You got the cough button?
Go. Well, you just boom. See how magic that was? John took great care of that. It was beautiful. Bam.
Thank you.
All right, college football starting, man. The college season is really here. I don't count week 0. That's 0 calorie weekend, and the game sucked. So,
well, both games. I watched the Minnesota Nebraska game, and Nebraska lost the way they've lost the last 100 games. In the last seconds. Late fumble. I mean, it was just so Nebraska. So Nebraska.
Yeah. And that was, boy, what does that do for the hopes of people with Matt Rule coming in? Because I was like, all right, Nebraska is going to change. They should be a better team, but you can't expect someone to wave a magic wand.
No.
But but we'll see if Deion Sanders does.
Yeah, we're all interested to see that. They've got 86 new guys. 86.
On and a one. Now, what if Deion Sanders has success? This team, Colorado, let me remind you people, last year, Colorado was 1-11.
Right.
They won one game. And so if he brings in 86 guys and he goes 8-4, he's going to just fly the double birds to everybody and say, how you like me now?
Exactly. I think it's, I used to work in Denver, and I know that the Denver journalists are having a blast, with Deion Sanders and Sean Payton, the two of them. Look, I think Deion did amazing things. Was it Jackson State? Was it? Yeah, Jackson State. In the
last night, I believe.
Yeah, and I would never dismiss Deion Sanders. He is an extraordinary talent, and
wants to win. He wants to win.
He wants to win, and I think he's got something special about him. And I would bet you that he continues to move up the coaching ranks. But look, if he can get 3 wins out of this Colorado team, and they have a real quarterback now, his son Shador. They've got some skilled people, from what I understand. But yeah, imagine turning over a roster, 86 new guys. I'm reading in the paper this morning about how IU's got all these new guys, but it's 1/10 of what they're looking at Colorado.
Oh, absolutely. Indiana does have a ton of new faces, which should help them. But I had to do a prediction in the Hoosier.com, and I'm like thinking, all right, what do you want me to say here? Yeah, Indiana brought in a ton of talent through the portal, but they're playing Ohio State, not Ohio. And they're 3 deep. We already know it's yada, yada. It's the same old story. Indiana, we don't know who their quarterback is, but regardless of that, it's not like he's some 5A guy that we're waiting to see. It's pretty simple. Can Indiana block?
Exactly.
Can Indiana open a hole? Can Indiana protect the unnamed starting quarterback? Or it doesn't even matter who he is. You can put me in there if you're not going to protect him. The secondary, there are apparently questions with, and Ohio State, of course, has the top receiving, maybe the number 5th best receiving core in the NFL. But it's going to. My prediction was that Indiana is going to stick with whom their starter is, and at the end of the game, I think maybe they can score and get inside of the spread.
What is the spread, Jim? 30-something?
Like 30 points the last I saw. I think the biggest thing for Indiana is to come out of this as injury-free as possible and to try to get a solid gauge on your entire team and especially your quarterback. Boom.
Yeah. No, I think Ohio State, it might be close for a quarter and a half, as so many IU Ohio State games have been over the years, just because it's the first game. Nobody knows what they got. The place is going to be jacked, I would think, Memorial Stadium. And Ohio State's, well, hopefully. And Ohio State's got a new quarterback. So they don't completely know what they've got. So I think IU will keep it reasonable for a little while, and they then get blown out in the second half. And I'm going to say 45-10.